Hey everyone, Scott J. from Crucible Custom Props, Norfolk Slab, and all the forums here. This is kind of like a follow-up on the previous video. So we have the Wanga bunker bomb. But as you may have noticed, that there was a scratch going along right here. Now, those scratches actually are on one of the original, they made multiples of them, and I haven't seen all of the angles of different ones, but I do have really good photos of one of them that had scratches in the exact same plot. And the reason from that scratch is these flat-headed screws are driving them into a curved surface like this. So even though it's okay, so what you have to do, these need to be bent into shape to kind of conform a little bit to that. You have to hold the thing, hold the whole prop, hold the screw, hold the driver, and drive them in, pressing pretty hard while you're driving them into a curved surface. Now, I don't know, there's probably a better way. Maybe it's just me being ham-fisted, but it's very difficult for me to do in any case. And holding them, trying not to slip and all that stuff at the same time. Well, in any case, I know the original prop makers had it happen too, because there's one of these things with a scratch here and a scratch here. And that's what happened to this one. And it is the last thing I have to put on here because everything else is painted underneath. And it did happen to my own personal one as well. But cool thing is, the owner of this, he asked about it, and I kind of knew that even though the original props had that kind of thing, it was going to be kind of bothersome to see it. So I asked if he wanted me to try to fix it, and he did. So it was a challenge to fix. I mean, not an incredible challenge, but basically I used some filler, filled the scratch, and then repainted. Not the whole thing. I spot repainted and weathered it, and matched the weathering basically that was already done. So as you can see, it looks pretty. I did have to replace the piece of tape, which is not that big a deal. Yeah, so it turned out really great. But I wanted to show that there's no trace of that scratch anywhere. What I used was a resin putty filler from, heck, I forgot what it's called. But anyway, I'll put it in the description. But yeah, so that's what I used, and I wanted to follow up on that and show that, because I know somebody else probably noticed it too. And if you're doing these things, man, it's kind of a task to hold this thing. I got fairly decent sized hands, but stubby fingers. You got to hold this thing, hold that screw in place, drive it through, and these metal holes, you want to try and drill out a little bit more, the holes that they're drilled into, because they're too small for the screws. But the problem with drilling them out and even driving them through is that's how these things are riveted in place, I guess. So when you do that, they tend to want to fall apart, and I haven't found a better way. The screws printed into the 3D printed motor housing are not really the issue. There's enough tolerance there to where they drive, and it's a tight fit, so they're not going to fall out. So you don't want to drill those out, but getting through that metal kind of sucks. But anyway, yeah, I wanted to address that and show that that it can be done, it can be repaired. It just takes some paint work to match the weathering and stuff like that, and the rest of these scratches and stuff are intentional. So but the one scratch that wasn't intentional actually happened on some of the real props, so that's why I wasn't too fussed about it at first. But it does kind of, it's in the most interesting area where the decal was, so it might become an eyesore depending on your taste. So anyway, yeah, so that's all fixed up. So just wanted to show it again. I know it's the same exact thing you saw, but I wanted to talk about that. I considered making a how-to, but it's really such a long process. It wasn't worth making the edits and stuff like that to show. I do have some pictures I might put in on Facebook showing how it's done, but now I'm just showing you guys kind of the overall maybe better light than the last video. Here's that steel donut thing. Yep, nothing to the bottom really, but here it is. All right, thanks for watching.